Ark Nova is a game about big decisions. But some of the most important moments happen when the game forces you to stop. Ark Nova is a strategy hand management game that has some engine building tendencies and with a really cool action selection system. The story? In Ark Nova, you plan and build a modern, scientifically managed zoo. You build enclosures according to the animal's way of life and support conservation projects to ensure the preservation of animal species. Gathering diverse animals increases the attractiveness of your zoo, advancing you on the appeal track and generating higher revenues. Likewise, careful stewardship of the animals allows you to support conservation projects, such as breeding programs, that lead to your advancement on the conservation track and corresponding bonuses. These two tracks progress in opposite directions. If your counters meet, the game ends. Whoever achieves the best combination of appeal and conservation has built the most successful zoo and wins the game. Association work in different zoo associations allows you to partner with zoos and universities around the world. Together, with specialists and sponsors, they will help you manage the various tasks needed to achieve your goals. And how are you going to achieve your goal of creating the most appealing zoo in your home? Let's head to the rules rundown to find out. Come on. So here we have Ark Nova already set up for 2 players, and just a few things to point out. I do have some upgrades to the game. First of all, we've got these pieces out here will be normal cardboard pieces. I have some nice upgrades I got off of Etsy for those pieces, as well as the kiosks and pavilions. You'll also notice throughout the video I got my cards sleeved, and then the pieces here on the board, these actually are upgraded from the expansion, the Marine World. These cups over here also my own. Everything else is strictly from Ark Nova. As you heard from the story, we are trying to build the best zoo that we can. This is going to be your player mat where you're going to be building up your zoo. And then this up here is the board where we'll be taking cards. This is the conservation board over here, which we'll go into in greater detail as we work our way through the action system. Now to start, you normally start with 8 cards, and then you'll discard up to 4, 25 money, 1 worker in order to go to the conservation track. A couple of bonus cards that you'll be able to look at give you some direction on where to go in the game, and you have till this point right here, the 10th conservation point, that you are able to go with both, at which point once one player gets to that number 10, everybody has to choose which of those 2 bonus cards they're going to keep. Now this here is your player board where you are going to be building up your zoo using the cascading actions down here. Now to start the game, your animal card has to go in the 1. The rest of them you can shuffle up and randomly place out on the other slots. Now how these actions work is they gain strength based on their positioning here on your player board, with 1 being the weakest, 5 being the strongest. Now we're just going to work through how each of these actions work. Now the animal action here is simple. You're going to be playing an animal card. You'll notice here if you do it on the 1, you can't buy an animal. And then as you work your way up, eventually if you wait and it gets up to 5, that will allow you to pay for up to 2 animals into your zoo. Now how these are going to move up is if you select an action, let's say you do the association action on your turn, these will slide up, association will go to the 1, and so on and so forth. Now for the animal action, like I mentioned, these will allow you to pay for an animal card that you have in your hand. There's a couple things that you're going to need to pay attention to when buying an animal. First of all, we'll just focus on this Indian condor. Up here in the top corner you have the 5. This tells you you need to have an enclosure already placed out into your zoo that is 5, which is the largest that you can play. So if we had something like this out here, we would be able to play this Indian condor. Now, if you wanted to play a monkey such as this that was at a 4, you could still use this 5. It just has to be at least the number that it has up in that corner. You also notice here a special icon. This tells you that this enclosure needs to be next to at least one rock. In this case, it is, so we're good to go. Some of them will need to be next to water, or they might have 2 symbols here, at which point they need to be touching 2 different terrain there. This over here tells you that this Andean condor can take up space in a special exhibit. This one referring to the apiary, and that one referring to how many spaces in the apiary it would take up. In this case, if you had this apiary placed out onto your player board here, you would simply place 1 cube on it to show that this Andean condor is taking up space there. Then down here, this shows you how much money needs to be spent in order to play the Andean condor. You can get a discount if you have a matching partner zoo over here on your board that will subtract 3 from the money that you should spend. This here is another icon that you have to have in your zoo already in order to play this. So in order to play this, we would have to have another card or some other item in our zoo that would give us that bird symbol. Then we'd be able to play the animal, at which point we would then look and see if there's a bonus action we can take. Then we'll check to see if we move up on the reputation track in this case, the appeal track, which will be most often what you move up on, as well as the conservation track. And that's how you play animals into your zoo there. After you play the animal, you would flip this enclosure to its occupied side, so you know you can't place any more animals in there. Next up, we have the build action, which is how we get enclosures into our zoo. This allows you to build a building with a maximum size of where the card is located on your action board here. You pay 2 money per space, so if you're paying for a 4, in this case I guess a 2, you'd just spend 4 money and you'd be able to get a size 2 building to place into your zoo. Now, when placing into your zoo, where I placed this originally, that would not be proper placement. To start your first building, you have to pick some edge around your zoo. You can start wherever you want, but once you place that, all other structures that you place into your zoo have to connect to that original one as you fill out the path there. Now, you also notice some special spaces here on the board. These are going to be special bonuses that you get when covering. So if I were to place this guy down, I would be able to get this bonus as well as this one, which there are so many, getting special X's which allow you to get stronger actions by spending those. You can even get up to 6 or 7 depending on how many of those you have in play. And that right there is the build action. You can also build special buildings such as the kiosk, aquariums, and such into your zoo. These special buildings such as kiosks, these guys will give you extra money once the income phase comes around. The pavilions will give you extra appeal. Now this for the sponsor action, this is very similar to paying for an animal, except in this case we are playing a sponsor card into our zoo. And these are going to be special cards in your hand, such as these that have this guy here at the top, which tells you need to have your sponsor at least to the level 4 in order to play this guy down. Now these sponsors are going to give bonuses to your zoo. Sometimes they're one-time bonuses. Most often they will give you bonus actions throughout the rest of the game, as well as possibly giving you end game scoring if you manage to complete the challenge that it has on the card. So sponsor cards can be very helpful to your zoo. The second action that you can take with the sponsors, however, is this break icon, which allows you to move the break token closer to getting to the income phase, which allows you to get more money. And then you also gain X amount of money based on wherever it's located on your action chart. And then next up, we'll talk about the association action, which is where you get to use your assistant token. Now when you take the association action, you perform one association task here on the association board based on the strength of where it's located on your action line. Over here, this is a section that you can only use when you have your card upgraded, which I'll talk about here in a bit. This will allow you to spend money in order to gain conservation points here. On this one, if you have it at least at a 2, go ahead and grab a couple on the reputation track. Right here, this we mentioned for the animals. These are partnership zoos that you can gain in order to allow you to spend less on that particular animal. Really helpful on the higher animals if they have a lot of these icons on them. Here we have the university section, and this is an upgraded board from the Marine game. You will not have this university, so pretend that one's not there for now. These other ones, these will just give you bonuses such as a larger hand limit, being able to get some of these icons into your zoo, which can be very helpful, as well as moving up on the reservation track. And then the biggest place to get points here is going to be on this last one, which allows you to complete a conservation card, which are these guys down here, which you will look at and see if you meet the requirements. And then you will take one of your tokens, place them down, gain the conservation points, as well as on your board, when you remove one of your tokens from over here, these will give you either one-time bonuses down here or instant bonus, as well as recurring bonuses during the income phase. So it's a huge boon if you're able to knock out a few conservation projects. Now you'll also notice on your player boards, as you place these partnership zoos down, you're going to be getting these bonuses, as well as possibly unlocking more workers, moving up points in the conservation track. Same down here at the universities, you'll cover those. But you also notice some other places like that we've discussed where you have some needs to upgrade your cards. There are certain places in the game that will allow you to get your cards upgraded, which will allow you to flip them over, and it will give you stronger actions that can be taken throughout the game. Many of them will just unlock, such as the animals. Now you can build at any point, and if you get all the way up to 5, that'll allow you to move up on the reputation track. Your building, it'll unlock the special aviary and the reptile house, as well as allow you to build more buildings, multiple depending on the strength that you have instead of just one. Your sponsors will allow you to play up to your max +1, and then you get more money. And then with your association, again, that allows you to make a donation to move up in the conservation track and perform more actions. So just getting these cards upgraded is huge. And then as we look at our last action, we have the card drawing, which breaks, which we'll look at here in just a second. And then you draw and discard depending again on your strength here. The other thing here is the snapping, which we'll see in just a second. This allows you to take any card from the line of cards here on the large board, which we'll look at here. Alright, so here on the main game board, this is where you're going to have your score track as well as your reputation track, and then the cards that you're going to be drawing from here on the main board, as well as the break line over here. So again, the break action, this allows you to move this. This is also a nice upgraded piece that we got. You can move that. So that break action allows you to move this coffee cup ever closer to this phase over here. First one to get it to this space will take an X, as well as start the income phase for everyone at the board, which will go through a long step of discarding cards down to your maximum hand limit, getting rid of items, resetting the conservation board and getting assistance back, getting cards moving along this track, getting all of your different incomes like we talked about, and then resetting for the next round. Now when you're drawing, again, you're gonna either draw from the deck, or if you upgrade, you'll be able to draw from within reputation range, which means if you had your marker all the way up here, you'd be able to draw any of these cards along here, or taking from the pile here. Now the snapping, what that means is instead of drawing, you can choose to just take any card, no matter your reputation range, from here. So that is very helpful if there's a specific card that's about to go away or you just can't get to it by the normal means. Go ahead and snap that up using that action. So those are all the main actions, and as you're going to be playing cards, like I mentioned, you're going to be moving around this appeal track here, which as you move along the appeal track, that'll allow you to get more and more money as you go. So the game is a little bit of an engine builder where as you play animals into your zoo, you play sponsors, you move up on the appeal, you move up over here on the conservation, which you'll move further, faster along there. Your goal for the game is to eventually get your two pieces to work their way all the way around the board until eventually your appeal marker is in one of the spaces or past the spaces that are connected to your conservation marker. Once that happens, all other players get one more turn to try to make the most of their time, and then final scoring commences. And your score is basically going to be however much you get past the marker, where in this case I'm on 89. I would then subtract from the smallest number that is attached to my conservation tracker, so I would end up here with 4 points. It is possible to end up with negative points if you are not able to get your appeal marker to meet or pass your conservation, so that can be a bummer in a long game. Now there are a few more things that we didn't discuss, like some bonus abilities that you can get along the conservation track, as well as different card abilities that are out there, but this should give you a gist of how to play Ark Nova. Welcome to the good, the bad, and the biblical. This is a section where I will tell you all the good I enjoy about the game, the bad that I didn't enjoy so much, and then the biblical, which is a parental guide of sorts, where I'll let you know if there is any language or vile humor or just anything that isn't Christ glorifying in the game. We always got to start off with the good, especially with the components, and I really enjoy the components in Ark Nova. I really enjoy the card art in this game, how they basically went with a wildlife magazine and pulled out really great pictures of the animals on the cards. I really love the user interface of the game. The iconography is great. You really don't need to look for any icons after the first or second play. Once you've made it through the game, you've seen all there is to see. There's only a couple that you just don't use very often during the game that you might need to look up, such as like the constrictors or the venomous icons. Those ones can get a little tricky, but other than that, the iconography is awesome, works out really well. It's easy to tell where everything goes on your player board, on the other boards that they have around the table. This game just does really well with its components. But components don't make a good game. They certainly help. But we are all here for the gameplay, and the gameplay in Ark Nova is really what makes it special. I love the action selection system where the actions get better as you wait to use them, so it has a really neat timing element where sometimes you will just need to take a weaker action in order to set off a combo that you really need. And then it's awesome when you're able to get a nice string and 2 or 3 times being able to use a level 5 power, which is just massive in this game, being able to fire off such a powerful ability, especially once you get your cards upgraded to the second side. That's really fun being able to use those. I really enjoy the cadence of this game as well. It feels a little bit like an engine builder. As you're building up your zoo, you start to move along that appeal track, which gives you more money each time you hit that income. At the beginning of the game, you're going to be able to do a few actions before you're eventually just forced to do the draw action in order to keep breaking, using that sponsorship action to break and then get some money, and then fire off that income phase so you can start paying for your cards again. And at the beginning of the game that happens a lot, but as the game goes by you start to find that you have plenty of money and plenty of actions to be able to really fire off those last few cards that you need to play into your zoo to get you around that corner, get those last few donations or conservation cards met in order to be able to move along that track in order to finish the game. It has this flow of its chugs to get moving, but once it goes, it finishes up really quick, and you can very easily find yourself being like, oh no, this is my last turn. I really enjoy that cadence of the game. I also love all the combos that you can perform with the different sponsors and animals, as well as be able to get those partner zoos and universities. Just all the different parts of the game come together really well to give you a lot of combos, some of which are very easy to pull off. Others really force you to think ahead and figure out, how am I going to piece these things together? And those can be a lot more powerful, but you do have to put in the necessary work in order to make it happen. I really enjoy that in the game. They really did a good job with such a thick deck, balancing that out to where there's more easy things to get down in order to bolster your zoo up, but there's enough of those big, really fun animals to get in your zoo where you can't really keep them at the beginning. It'll take too long to get them out, but at the end of the game, when you start seeing a few more come up, it's like, oh, now's the time. I'm going to get just a ton of appeal, reputation, maybe some conservation on the side, get a really powerful ability to use. So I really enjoy that. Just the variety this game has to offer is awesome. And speaking of that variety, I didn't show it in the overview, but the game comes with a couple of starter maps, which is what you saw at the very beginning. We've got a 0 side for beginners where it starts you off with an enclosure. And then you have this side A, which is this I played a few times. Now I'm ready to be able to choose where I'm going to put my starting enclosure, build off from there. But then they have some specialty maps, like there's a Hollywood one, an ice cream parlor. One of my wife's favorite is you've got this, it's a lake that's in the middle of your park, but as you place enclosures around that, that just gives you a lot of money for doing that. And each of those different maps has a special ability that will give you a better direction for how you're going to want to play the game, as some are going to really push you towards conservation, some are just like, let's build as quickly as we can, while others focus more on sponsors. And it just touches on all these different aspects of the game, and even getting some of the new map packs that you can get even adds further to that. That's a topic for another video. This base game, right out of the box, they give you so much variety in the cards that you can play, as well as the different maps that you can play on. So that's really awesome. But what I'm really here for is the theme of the game. Man, I grew up playing Zoo Tycoon. Absolutely loved that game, being able to build up my own zoo. I loved going to the zoo. Grew up in Nebraska, where we've got the Henry Doorly Zoo there in Omaha, which is rated as top 5 zoo, if not the best zoo in the country for sure. Worldwide, it's even right up there. So I've always enjoyed going to our zoo, checking out all the different animals. Love seeing God's creation there. And this game brings that concept, that being able to make my own Henry Doorly Zoo, being able to play my own Zoo Tycoon right there on the table, is so much fun. I love that concept. So the theme really grips me. It grips my wife as well, which is great. So we have a blast playing this game, win or lose. Just being able to build up our zoo is awesome. Hey, thanks for watching this video here on Faith and Board Games. If you're enjoying the content that you are seeing, feel free to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. It's a free way for you to show support for the channel, and it just helps me be able to produce more of this content for you. Thanks once again for watching here on Faith and Board Games. Let's get back to the video. But no game is perfect. Maybe perfect for you, but not perfect for everyone. So there's a few things that I have gripes about in the game. The first off is the storage solution. The box itself is very awkward. Don't love the oblong shape. It didn't even fit properly on my display shelf that I had here. So it has to go on the higher shelves just to be able to stand up to display like I like to do. So I don't love that. There's also some plastic trays One of them works really well for the smaller tokens, but they also have that storage tray in there for the enclosures. And there a couple of them, there's more enclosures than will fit in the space that's provided for them. And then the other one, you just have to get real creative with how you stack those enclosures in there to make it work. So I don't love that. And then there's also not a great solution for storing all of the cards that are in this game. There's like over 200 cards that you have to get stored. They give you baggies for them, but then you gotta split them up between all the different baggies. So that's a little bit of a pain. So the game itself is awesome, but the storage for the game, not so great. Also, with those cards, that can be a little cumbersome on the table when you have this giant stack of cards that you're worried. It's like, I don't want to knock that over, don't want to bump the table too hard to strew those across the table. So that can be a little bit of a bear. And then with all of those cards, getting into the gameplay, it can lead to being really tough to find the card you're looking for. Having over 200 cards in the deck, that can be a little bit of a bugger. And then when you're trying to hunt for that card, it can lead to the game becoming very long, especially in the middle of the game, when at the beginning you're figuring out your strategy and you're getting cards down, but then you have that strategy set about that halfway point of the game, and then there's just a few cards that you need to get that engine over the top to finish it off. And that can be a little brutal there at the end, getting just the right cards to fit the strategy they already have, because it's not really a game that's conducive to changing that strategy up late game. Sometimes you just have to, and you got to play with what you got, but it's not ideal. And then the scoring takes quite the getting used to. That paths crossing to end the game, not so tough, but remembering how far back you go to score, that took my wife and I a long time to get that. And that's going to do it for the bad. And for the biblical section, there's nothing to speak of. I did not see any agendas being pushed in this game. It was really just a cool game about, hey, let's throw some animals into the zoo, talk with some other partner zoos, go to some universities, whatever. It's just, the theme is really cool, and I don't think they put anything in here that would really give anyone pause, in my opinion. And that's going to wrap it up for the good, the bad, and the biblical. I'm going to see you in a second for a short faith lens, and then we'll get into my final thoughts and rating. Welcome to the Faith Lens. This is a segment where I take a theme or mechanic from a board game and derive a spiritual application from it for our benefit, and more importantly, God's glory. In Ark Nova, one of the most used and often unappreciated actions is the coffee break. At first, it can be so frustrating. You're just getting into the game, you just want to get animals into your zoo, you've got this big play planned, but then you find that you don't have enough money to get it done. So then you just have to work towards that coffee break, and you're forced to wait. And the coffee break stops the action, not to punish you, but to prepare you. During that pause, you're refilling cards, and taking in all of your income, firing off little bonuses that you have, all in preparation for the next round of the game. It's nothing flashy that's happening, but it's stuff that is necessary that's happening. And that reminded me of Israel's journey through the wilderness to the promised land. God had promised them the land, but it was not constant progress forward. There were many instances where God would have them wait for weeks, sometimes months, before carrying on their journey to the promised land. And these times of pausing and waiting, it wasn't because God had forgotten them, was busy with something else. It was because they weren't ready to be in the land God had prepared for them. The land itself was not ready for the children of Israel. And God was using that time to prepare them. Exodus 16:35 says, "And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years until they came to a land inhabited." 40 years of provision, 40 years of waiting. Not being able to move forward didn't always look like progress, but there's preparation happening. In Ark Nova, if you refused the coffee breaks, which not possible mechanically. But if you were to do that, you'd eventually run out of cards, you'd run out of money, you would not have the necessary resources in order to play the game properly. In the same way, we can find ourselves resisting God's pauses that He's placing on our lives, which is going to leave us empty and deprived of the necessary resources or preparation that God has for us in order to complete the task that He has prepared for us. Sometimes the most faithful action you can take is to just wait. Let God fill you. Let God prepare you for the next phase of your life. Ark Nova quietly teaches that truth. In Ark Nova, you don't win by never stopping. You win by resting at the right time, so when that moment comes, you're ready to make the move. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us of this great truth. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Sometimes it's worth waiting. In Ark Nova and in life, renewal often comes before advancement. That's a truth worth remembering the next time the game, or more importantly, God, asks you to take a pause. Well, that's going to do it for today's Faith Lens. Let's head over to my final thoughts and rating. Ark Nova is a fantastic game. The gameplay is awesome. It's very smooth. Everything comes together nicely. The user interface is awesome. The way all the iconography makes sense. But really what this game comes down to is that theme. The designers mention it at the beginning of the rule book, where they did their best to make this a realistic experience of creating a zoo on the table. But they also did a great job of, hey, we're going to make this as realistic as possible, but if something comes up where it's like, you know what, that doesn't make sense mechanically, that doesn't make sense as a player, then they went with what made sense to the game and what was fun, and they didn't tie themselves to accuracy, which works out perfectly as a game design. It ends up being an experience that my wife and I have enjoyed for years now, and it's one where even if you lose, it's not like a Monopoly where you're going to put in hours, which you're going to in this game. This is a 2 to 3 hour experience depending on player count, but it's one where you're going to put that much time in, and you know what, whether I win or lose, I created a cool zoo. They have such a wide variety of animals that go into that zoo. There's so many fun combinations that can be made with the sponsorships, combining with the animals, combining with the conservation section, where the association board. It's just so many things that come together to form an amazing, satisfying experience. And that's why this game gets a 10 out of 10 from me and from my wife. We absolutely love this game. This is going to be in our top 10 games for a long time. I can't imagine it dropping anytime soon. Now the big question is who is this game for? It's going to be for players like my wife and I, where we are very much theme forward. You hit us up with a game that has a really cool theme that is integrated well into the gameplay, and you have a hit in our house. And this game does that. So if you're going for a great theme of hitting up a zoo, this game's going to do that for you. It's also going to be for players that love a robust gaming experience, where there's a lot of combos to be made. There's going to be so many different avenues. There's so much variety packaged into this game. That's the type of player this game is going to be for. On the flip side of that, if you do not like being overwhelmed with iconography, when you get 10 or more cards of animals and sponsors in your zoo, it's a lot to keep track of as far as what icons do I have in my zoo, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish with my goals at the end, am I doing what I need to make sure I'm getting those end game bonuses to get a max number of points. There's going to be a lot of that, and if that's not something you want to keep track of, maybe not the game for you. And again, this game can get long, It also requires a lot of table space. So those are some things that might give you pause when picking up Ark Nova. But anyway, that's going to do it for my review of Ark Nova. Thank you so much for watching Faith and Board Games. I'm Tyler Collum. And until next time, enjoy your time at the zoo and stay awesome.